Hello, everyone. You are listening to the Earful Tower. I am your host, Oliver G.
Stop it. Stop it. I am your host, Oliver G. This is the Earful Tower podcast, all about Paris, France, and my co-host, or my guest who thinks she's the co-host,
By force,
is Lina Nordin G.
That's me.
Officially la First Lady of the Eiffel Tower. And
Yes.
If you're brand new around here, this is a show about Paris. I do it every Monday. If you like it, subscribe. If you hate it, turn it off right now. But today, with Lina, I'm going to share... You frowned at that bit. It doesn't matter. They've turned it off if they don't like it.
Fair enough.
Today's a bit of a different episode, and it's kind of exciting as well, because the episode is sort of like a love letter to the district of Paris called Montmartre.
The place we called home for the past 2 years.
And past tense is the right tense here because we've moved out of Montmartre. Where will we be in Paris next?
Time will tell.
Exactly, that's for another episode. But what you'll hear now is Lena and I walking around Montmartre, our exact street, exactly where we lived, the coffee shops we went to all the time, and we just took the microphone and sort of walked around and reminisced about it. From if you guys have read my book in the last chapter that I talk all about when we moved in here, it seems like way more than 2 years ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So we talk about like the restaurant that I'm not going to spoil the story, but the restaurant that welcomed us, and we, the coffee shops and the streets and the market, and you'll hear the sound of Montmartre in the background. But just as a bit of a time document, we had to fill in an attestation just to do this walk, the crazy times we're in. In other words, we needed to give ourselves permission to leave the house.
It was quite hard to find like the perfect reason.
Yeah.
They didn't have a box to tick for that,
Yeah.
but we did it.
Making a farewell podcast love letter to Montmartre. For the practical details, if you've never heard of Montmartre, it is in the 18th district of Paris, north of the city. It's where the lovers cried and the poets dreamed. It's where...
Wow.
It's
La Bohème.
La Bohème, yes. It's it's kind of where the artists called Paris home for many centuries. And as an artist yourself, Lina...
I feel right at home. Well, not anymore, I guess.
What a shame we're leaving. But anyway, here's the walk. We'll be back at the end to read out a little bit of emails and some news on our latest joint project, Kylie the Crocodile. But I want you all, unless you're driving, to close your eyes. Imagine that you are in Montmartre walking with us, because we're about to take you for a lovely little journey. You ready, Lina?
Come on, let's do it.
Okay, well here we go, Lina.
Yes.
Walking up the hill.
Here we are walking up the hill for the very last time.
How does it feel?
Well, it doesn't feel real in a way,
I agree with you. It's kind of, well, maybe that's partly the lockdown. And that
maybe.
everyone's wearing masks, but...
Yeah.
So we're walking up Rue Germain Pilon.
German pylon.
Germain Pilon.
Germain pylon.
A street name I've never said publicly.
Nope.
And then
Because it's our street. We're moving out.
Well, it was, I guess. But the idea is we're going to do this walk now and just sort of reminisce a little bit about some of the things that we used to walk past.
Yes.
And what we I don't know, the idea is a real look at a Montmartre neighbourhood.
Well, our favorite spots. Just talk through where we've been going for these past 2 years, what we've been doing.
And we're starting on something that I've wanted to sort of share properly for ages, and it's really beautiful, and it's proven by the fact that we just walked past 3 people doing a photo shoot. Oh, it's a guy with his shirt unbuttoned.
Half topless.
It was a not safe for work photo shoot. But I'll put this map out there on the scroll for the Patreon supporters to get exactly right, but I'll say it now. We just walked down Rue Véron, and then we switched onto...
I don't even know, but you turn...
We turn right onto Rue André Antoine. And this little corner of road is so Montmartre for me.
So charming.
So small.
It's perfect. It's dwindling, like I used to like to say.
Where did that come from? Bonjour.
I don't know. I just like to say it. Windling street. It sounds perfect.
And that's what it is. It's cobblestone. It's extremely narrow. Sometimes we've taken Like if you ever take a taxi to get home
Yeah.
for whatever reason, they sometimes struggle on the corners. It's so narrow. And no one knows about this at all because it's
Yeah.
the back streets.
Exactly.
And we're just one block north of the big boulevard and the same boulevard where Moulin Rouge and everything is. But it's quiet as anything.
It's quiet, and it's the perfect little street corner. It's rare that people are there, and if they are, it's usually like a couple in love. It's very charming.
And it's it's just to paint a picture, the sidewalks, the footpaths on the side of the road are so narrow. I'm looking at it now. It's got to be 60 centimeters wide.
Yeah, you can't
We'll
really
take
walk
pictures.
there.
And then the street becomes Rue Piemontesi.
Oh, look at this.
And Lena's taking... Oh, yeah, this is a cool street for two reasons. And while Lena takes some pictures to share, I'll explain them while she catches up. One is there's a really cool cafe, my old local cafe. If you ever met me in this neighbourhood in the past 2 years, you maybe met me here. It's called Ceylon, S-Y-L-O-N. Ceylon is perhaps how French people pronounce it. I heard it's named after Sydney and London, which the owners had some connection to. But I've always felt a bit guilty about going here so often and not sharing it. But I was conscious of ending up spoiling my secret spot. But now I want to give them as much publicity as possible because they've been very good to me over the years. And it looks like, despite the confinement, they're having some kind of get-together here to mark the end of Saturday, halfway through this lockdown.
Hey again.
There you are.
I just took some pictures.
Well, what you take a picture of? Because that's something, the other cool reason this street is so interesting.
Yeah, so I was taking pictures of, what do you call them, like street poles?
Street poles, bollards. You know, in French they're called beat, which is
really?
a rude word for
The male
penis. Anyway, these male organs are all painted with the faces or the styles of famous artists. So here's a fun fact about too. If you don't know which artist it is, you can look on the back. So the one we're looking at now is Toulouse-Lautrec.
Yeah, I recognize it. It's that guy with the red scarf, dressed in black.
Which guy is that?
I don't know, but
Okay.
you probably see a mental picture of it.
We'll take pictures and share them. In fact, Lena looks like she's doing it now, but there's also like Dali and Picasso and Van Gogh and all of them. So these little, usually black and white painted street bollards are all painted in an artistic style. Let's continue.
Look at this. Oh no, it's Dali.
So the Mona Lisa that we're looking at now, and when we say a street pole is painted in Mona Lisa, the little sort of ball on the top is just an eyeball, and then it's sort of face and the body. It's really cool. Like we'll share pictures. Anyway, we've made it to Ceylon now. And we just get a little bit of French speaking in the background. Salut, ça va? C'est quoi? C'est une grosse teuf ce soir. Grosse teuf.
Thank you. You too. We look
Je
the
fais un
same.
petit enregistrement. On va déménager.
Oui.
Déménager?
Ouais.
Maintenant, on fait je sais pas. On fait un petit love letter à Montmartre. Here I am, Ceylon.
Salut. Hi, how are you?
Is that your radio voice?
It is my new radio voice.
Oh wow, that's very impressive.
I'm sorry about that.
No, I like it. So and salut to you as well.
Hey.
So I was just recommending as I was walking up the street, Ceylon. I learned that you pronounce Ceylon, not Ceylon.
No, you can pronounce the way you want. There is no
okay.
rules.
Okay, well I'll just say Ceylon now.
Okay.
But it's with great sadness that we leave this neighborhood of Montmartre because I love this place.
We love you too.
Oh, well, thank you. But I wanted to say, first I
No,
want to
it's
say...
true. We're really, really, really. I'm so glad like you're living close and we met and we had all these talks and actually all our conversations, all our funny things about French.
That's true. I was going to say you taught me a lot of French.
I remember all the expressions, everything like that. No, it's so cool.
But you didn't teach me so much about French. You just got roped into this interview. But that's...
So that is Jen, our new barista.
Yeah.
And so we are so happy so now it's lockdown in Paris.
That's what I was going to talk about as well.
And we are open just for takeaway.
Yeah.
And we kind of it's very, very nice to see all the people from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And everybody's like so happy to be here. and that is very cool. And we're very happy like to be open and to have just like this kind of uncommon chat about life and
Because it
everything.
wasn't like
That
this
is-
in the last lockdown, remember?
So we were closed,
I remember.
and it was it's very different.
I remember.
It was very scary. And
It was
everything.
weird. But one thing, like, let's just imagine in the future, maybe someone will listen to this in 1 year and they'll think, oh, Silon, people in French don't speak English. You guys are the proof.
So
Are you comfortable to speak
that
English
can
with
happen
tourists?
sometimes. Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's hard to find people who speak
That
English.
can
do you
happen.
agree with that? Yeah, you think
Yes.
it's...
Well,
Yeah.
not the new. Well, the old generation for sure. The new generation, not really. Like they are more comfortable speaking English. I think so. Even if it's not as good as like, the same generations from another countries. But I think now French are a bit more comfortable with English.
Especially if you're going to a coffee shop, like everyone is speaking pretty good English, and they are fluent most of the time.
Yeah, I
so.
think so too.
For sure. I'm sure there are people listening to this podcast who think that they will be struggling if they come to Paris without speaking French, but it's not true.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, not anymore.
No.
And everybody like okay. So when someone speaking English as English speaker, when they try to speak French, is very, very, very sexy. So
Hang on, when an English-speaking
yeah,
person...
of course. So you should like doesn't matter mistakes or whatever. Speak French. We're like, oh, it's so. Oh, yeah. Don't stop speaking.
C'est bon à savoir.
Exactement.
Okay, well, I will leave you guys. Really nice to talk. I'll be very sad to not be in the neighborhood anymore and see your happy faces here. But
I'm sure we'll meet somewhere.
absolutely. But thanks for 2 years of coffee.
No, thank you so much
And
for
thanks,
everything.
and thanks for, I mean, we've seen each other
Thank
around the
you.
neighborhood
Yeah.
for 2 years as well. So
Yeah.
thanks for that as well. But courage with the lockdown,
Merci.
and we'll see you next time.
Ciao, ciao, bisous. Bon voyage.
Ah, Silon.
Our old watering hole.
Many a coffee there. Absolutely worth it. They make lovely coffee. It's a really nice ambience as well.
Yeah,
Calm
it
in
is.
there.
And they're so friendly. Like you probably heard.
As you heard, yeah.
Yes.
And for you guys who are maybe still learning French, at the end I said, bon à savoir, good to know. That's just me being a little
That's
bit
also
cheeky.
good to know little phrase.
Bon à savoir, bon à savoir. So now we've just left. It would be quite easy to follow our walk on a map, I think. We
Yeah.
went uphill, and now we turn left onto the beautiful,
Rue des Abeilles.
my favorite street.
I know, me too, I'll miss this.
Is it your favorite street as well?
It's up there. It
Eiffel
might
Tower
be,
exclusive.
might be.
Lina, what is your favorite street?
Oh my, woo! It actually might be this. It's super picturesque. Otherwise, I like Rue de Bac in the 6th,
yeah.
7th,
Yep.
something like that.
One thing that's really nice about this exact area where we're just pausing for a second is the Square des Abbesses, or the Place des Abbesses it's called.
Yeah.
If you guys have watched, what's that Meg Ryan movie that we
Ooh.
watched where she,
Well,
French
Meg-
Kiss? Is
Maybe.
it called French Kiss?
Yeah, that
There's
sounds
a-
about right.
There's a scene where she walks through this place and we're like, oh wow, it's really right around the corner from our house. Best bit of the movie as far as I'm concerned. But what's really cool about it is the carousel, this beautiful old school carousel.
Next to the really cool Arch Nouveau metro station entry. What do you call it?
Yeah, the metro entry.
Yeah,
And it's
sure.
one of those, as I understand, it was the one that used to be at the Hotel de Ville in the Marais. And then they upgraded that one and just plopped this one.
Oh, they just moved it.
Yeah, they picked it up and put it on a truck and took it over here.
I didn't know
So
that.
this is like one of the old school ones. And where we're standing on this autumnal day, it's so beautiful because the sun's still out. All the leaves around it are brown.
Yeah, and they're literally falling. They're just
Yeah.
like
There's one right next to us.
Yeah, just swimming through the sky.
And in all seriousness, a man just walked past us wearing a baguette, wearing a beret, carrying a baguette. It's a very French sort of area. And if you're ever going to come to Paris, make a beeline to Place des Abbesses because I love it here.
And just walk down Rue des Aubers. Just if that's the only thing you do in Montmartre, I think you've done something right.
Do you remember Elaine Chelino said the only street in Paris is Rue de Martyr?
Yeah.
Wrong. It's Rue des Abbesses.
I know, she was misinformed.
So we're going to keep walking a little bit. And maybe you could take a picture of that I can add to show. Shame we can get a
Sure.
picture of the guy in the beret.
Yeah.
But,
I'll
oh,
just
look at
Photoshop
that.
him in.
The guy wearing the baguette.
Yes.
Well, where we're,
Holding a beret.
Where we're walking past now is... so now we're walking past that sort of hidden park where I did the episode with Lily Heisey. But we're continuing on along the most beautiful street in Paris.
Yes.
And I think it's time to take a walk down memory lane.
All right. That sounds good. Let's do it.
What is this, when you think of this street, what do you think?
Well, I think about weekend mornings. I don't know. It's just something nice about strolling down. We go to our favorite fruit shop and pick up a baguette from our favorite bakery here, have a little coffee at Ceylon. You know, it's nice.
Do you know,
feels like a weekend.
Like you just feel, it
I
gives
don't
you
know,
weekend
I just feel
vibes.
like weekend, always.
I think the other cool thing about it is where we're passing now along Rue des Abbesses, there's the Passage des Abbesses on the right, and then there's the big stairs going down on the left.
Yeah.
And if you were to go right and through that passage, it leads to an enormous staircase where at the top there was that street that was decorated in 1942. Remember that?
Yes, of course. What's the name of the street?
Androuet, it's called. So we got pictures of that where it was a World War II film, and it was so cool. I'm sure you guys have listened to a lot of episodes, know what I'm talking about, but they changed the street in 1942 with all the sort of memorabilia and the facades. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And now we're walking past Coquelicot.
Yeah, been there a few times. Ordered a La Reine or two.
Or
it's kind of a baguette, but like nice and chewy. You know?
What is the deal with that? Have they just named it in a different way?
I don't know. I wonder if they use different flour or something for the different types. But they have about 10 different baguettes.
I think that they I think I mentioned her in my book, that they are like super aware of everybody in the town. Like we went in there the other day for the first time in ages, and she was like, "Oh, ça va, jeune homme? How's your wife?" and all this. They're just super.
She got lucky there.
What do you mean?
As in, like, lucky guess.
Oh.
If she didn't know.
No, she knows.
Yeah, she knows.
So now we're standing. If we take a pause just over here.
We just passed another really nice street, Rue Ravignan. And it's great for, like, when the sun sets over Paris, you get a really nice view from the top of that street. It's just like, so because in Montmartre, like, it's a very small street and, as I say, windling. So it's not, you don't get like a lot of view usually if you don't get up really quite high. But at the top of that street, it just opens up and it feels really airy and you get a lot of sky.
And there's a cool bar on the right-hand side called Chez Camille.
Mm-hmm. It's all yellow and it's cool.
And it's got like boxing memorabilia from like the 50s or earlier maybe?
Yeah, so it's all yellow
it's
with
weird.
like brown accents. It's cool.
It feels weird for us now because we haven't been in these places for so long.
I know.
So I can hardly remember what's inside them. But
I know.
But as we've
So
continued,
weird.
we've paused now, but we're at the top of Rue Germain-Pilon where we used to live.
Yeah, maybe one of the most photographed street
It's
corners.
happening now.
Yeah,
Can you
it's
take a picture
literally-
of the guy taking a picture? So I talked about this in my book as well. There's these restaurants. This one's called the Vrai Paris, the real Paris, and there's Sancerre next to it. And they've got permanent flowers along the awnings.
So the first one has like pink roses or flower, what do you call it? Cherry blossom.
Yeah.
Fake, obviously. But it just looks really, really charming.
And then from where we're standing, another viewpoint, you can see the top of the Opéra Garnier, the opera house.
Yeah, from
Down
the top
there.
of our street.
Beautiful, but we will
Yes.
continue. The other nice thing about this street, I talked a lot about this street. I did put a whole chapter of it in the book, like one of the mini chapters, is that there's we're walking past...
It's a village feel.
That's the thing I was going to say.
Yeah.
We're walking past the cheese shop, which is next to the fruit and veg shop.
Yeah.
And then there's more cheese shops and more fruit and
Oh,
veg
the
shops.
smell, did you get it?
Oh my gosh,
Pungent.
yeah. Pungent cheese.
So nice though.
And an ice cream shop on the left. There's an ice cream shop further down on the right. There's the butcher, the baker.
The wine specialist, a couple of them, of course. This is France after all.
That's right.
And little jewelry shops and everything's just nice. It's nice, and I like it because it's not a lot of streets in Paris that has trees.
Yep.
And this one has a row of, what are they called? Pilträd.
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 What is that? Magnolia?
No.
Oh, I've got no idea. We'll look it
Well,
up.
they're all knobbly in the winter
Okay.
and no leaves. But in the spring and summer, they're beautiful.
We'll come back with a translation of that. But as we keep walking on past Rue Audran, where there's lots of Italian restaurants, it reminds me of this the thing that I really like about it is a lot of the tourists who come to Montmartre typically go see the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, they get off at Anvers metro station and walk up that street that I can't remember the name of either. What's it called?
Which one? Rue Lepic?
No. Anvers, they go to Anvers
Oh,
and
yeah,
walk
Rue
up
Steinkirk.
the
Oh, I hate that
just
street.
straight up to the Sacré-Cœur.
Yep.
And it's full of like scammers and just it's not great. It's
That's
super
why I hate
touristy.
it. I hate that street.
Yeah, and
it's got
then-
all the knickknacks, you know,
Like the stupid little Eiffel Tower. Well, no offense if you like that sort of stuff, of course.
There's not-
Everyone needs an Eiffel Tower or two in their life. But yeah, this is very different vibe.
So as we continue on, this street is just what I really like about it is, despite all the tourists in Montmartre going to those places, which is a bit too touristy, I think we can admit. What I like about this is tourists still find it, but they seem so happy to have found this place, and I love that.
Yeah.
Right now, there aren't any tourists whatsoever. It's
Like
just
I didn't
locals.
find it on my first trip to Paris. Not the second one either.
Salut les gars.
Salut, ça va?
Oui, toi. Salut.
Ciao.
That's my favorite.
The fruit lads.
I actually planned to do something fun when we walked past, but I forgot.
Did you
'cause
freak out
No,
last
I was
moment?
thinking too much about everything else.
Fair enough.
But that's where I go in, and whenever they ask me how I am, I
They
often
have
tell
the
them.
best mangoes.
I often tell them j'ai la pêche.
La
I have
pêche.
the peach,
And
which
then-
is like a word play. It means I feel really great, but it's a fruit and veg joke, and they always pretend it's the first time they heard it.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Ooh la banane,"
Yeah.
which means the same thing. It's like a
big
banana smile.
Yeah. They're nice, those guys.
Yeah, they're fun.
So as we pause here, looking up another beautiful street, hard to pronounce, Rue Toulouse,
So we just paused here at the corner of the Café Le Nazir.
with an R at the
and-
end.
Yeah,
Not Nazi.
Not the Nazi R. And then at the top of the street is a brown windmill. And it's the Moulin de Galette, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And halfway up this street is a super, super cute little cinema.
Yeah, in fact, it's where they did the Lost in Translation stuff. It's called Studio 28 or Studio 28.
And it's super charming. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cute. I really like that place.
And we're not going to go up there, but I've definitely done it on some walk shows before. But that Moulin de Galette that you mentioned is where people who are familiar with the work of Renoir, Renoir, might remember that he did a painting, the Bal de le Moulin de Galette, I think it's called.
Yes.
Which is all the garden characters, like people dressed up in their Sunday best. And it was painted in the gardens of that windmill, essentially.
yeah.
You can go and find that. If you were to walk up the very hill, we're not. In fact, we're not even going to walk further forward where you could find Van Gogh's old place. We're going to turn left.
We are down on Rue Le Pic.
So now we're going to walk on the right-hand side of the road. This Rue Le Pic is another really nice one. And I used to do quite a few tours around Montmartre back in the day. And what I'd do is I'd start in the Montmartre cemetery, which I've been raving about over the past weeks. And then...
Man possessed
I know.
by a ghost.
And then I'd go past the Moulin Rouge and I'd walk up this street, and I often would tell people, and I still do, family, friends, or people on tours, I say, this is where the village of Montmartre begins. As you ascend Rue Le Pic, it just becomes more and more villagey. You start getting
and
more...
like less and less touristy and more just nice. Nicer and nicer.
This is where you want to be. Rue Le Pic, Lepic, and Rue des Abbesses. These two, you're onto a good thing, but it's really charming. Like where we're looking now on the corner of Véron and Le Pic, there's a shop. I don't know how would you describe that shop?
A pisserie.
What is it? What's it? Like a? It's not a grocery store, but it's
It's like a delicatessen.
Yeah.
Specialty little jars of goodies and all sorts.
And
Everything from wine to marmalade.
Exactly. And what's really nice about it is they've kept the original facade from when it used to be another shop. You can see at the top it says R. Bernard or Bernard or something on top.
Yeah.
But I asked the guy, I was like, what did this used to be before? Once when I was in there buying some marmalade or something. And he says, why, come and look at this. He pointed out that there's like 100 hooks on the sort of iron framework out the front. And he said, what do you think these are for? I had no idea. He said, it's where the butchers used to hang their meat.
Yeah.
So since
Literally
he told
just
me
like
Yeah, just a cow.
Impale it
Yeah,
up there.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
But since he told me
Straight
that,
from the farm.
I found a bunch of other similar ones around Paris. I've only found like 3 or 4, but there's a clue. You know, it used to be a butcher if you can find hooks, and many of them.
This is interesting. And next to the L'Épicerie de Terroir is a tiny little blue, what do you call it? Bakery, I guess.
Yep.
It's called Les Petits Mitrons, and they have really, really nice fruit tarts all made there, and they have beautiful packaging. Like all the little fruit tarts. It's just super French, super cute, super old school. They come in like this pink packaging. It's just really nice. I love that
It's
place.
kind of like the gift bakery.
Yeah,
Like everything you get there feels like a gift.
exactly.
But in terms of bakery, Rue des Abbesses that we mentioned before is the place to go for a good baguette. There's 3 or 4 bakeries and all of them are award winning for either the best croissant in 2015, the second best baguette in 2016. I never know where to go, but the real
I mean,
answer
you
is
can't really
go.
go wrong.
Yeah. But instead of continuing down Rue des Piques, we're going to finish the loop and go down Rue Véron.
Back to Véron, huh?
Well, I think we need to sort of round things up because instead of taking lots of little snippets on this walk, I've just done it as a walk show.
Yeah.
You're taking pictures of
Yeah,
the butcher
I was
hooks.
gonna.
Okay, so while Lina takes pictures of the butcher hooks that I can share with you guys, I'm going to keep walking ahead on Rue Véron, which has Veron. It has a lot of history itself. In fact, Edith Piaf used to kick around here. Her former... If I can remember from my interview with Edith Piaf, I'm not sure she was married to the boxer. Maybe she was just together with him, but he had... I'm pretty sure he had a bar up here somewhere. It's not there anymore, but there's a lot of history. I know that she used to hang around here. So I was just talking about Edith Piaf used to kick around up here
Oh yeah.
with her
Yes,
husband.
exactly. The boxer?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Were they
right.
married? That's what I couldn't
Can't
remember.
remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know. I can't keep up with Edith.
But this is another one of those streets. One, like, if I would have sort of golden rules of exploring Paris, one of my golden rules would be, if you see a lot of people, go one street parallel,
Yeah.
further in, further away, whatever, and you're bound to find fewer people and lots of treasures. For example, this mosaic Grand Hotel d'Orient of the Orient, like the whole facade is in these beautiful mosaic tiles, and it's really easy to miss. You'd never see it from a typical tourist visit to Montmartre.
Exactly. You wouldn't see it from Rue des Abbesses.
And you snapped it, didn't you?
I snapped it, so might be in a scroll later on for Patreon people.
Look at this, Lena.
I know. I'm getting the hang of it, don't I?
So we were only a couple of 100 meters from home, and this was just sort of, an exploration of what we felt to be our village for
Yeah.
2 years. How do you think this will play back in your memories?
Oh, it's been 2 really good years. It's been such a different Paris experience to anywhere else we lived. It has felt really like a village. It's not a fake thing. It's not a thing that people just say like Montmartre is a village. Like it really is. We get to know people on the street. Like you just start recognizing everyone, and you call out to people by name, and it's really nice.
And it's much more, and I do wonder if it's because you and I speak much better French now than we did when we lived in the 2nd and the 11th. But one thing is for sure is it's going to be sad to leave this place.
Yeah.
Because we definitely built a home and got to know the people around here.
Yes, we have. But having said that, I'm very excited to get to know other parts of Paris too.
Me too.
Hopefully in the same way.
Me too. And I think now that we know Paris really well, I think hopefully it'll be quite easy. And one thing to be excited about is people often say that all of Paris is full of lots of little villages.
And little treasures. You just have to look.
You just need to know where to look.
Just be open to it.
And if it is true that Paris is a collection of loads and loads of villages, then I guess it will just be replacing this charming one with whatever the next one will be.
Exactly.
So here we are, we're back on our street, Germain Pilon. In fact, I've got to make a stop here to finish. Chez Toinette. This restaurant, sadly, has had to close its doors during the lockdown. Perhaps for good, as I understand. But these were the guys, I mentioned them in my book, if you want to look it up. It's so charming. We had grand plans with this place.
I know.
Grand plans that I'll get into another day, with their attached art gallery to the side, if you want a clue. But I guess that's not going to happen. But this is the place where they invited us on our first night in Montmartre and gave us a free meal.
They really welcomed us with
It was
open
so,
arms.
Oh, it was so nice. It was
I never experienced anything like it. It was very special.
Yeah, so
What a start, huh?
a shout out to Chez Toinette on our old street.
Yeah.
And literally right now, we're 20 meters from home. We're about to give the key back to the landlord with a little bit of either a tear in my eye or remnants of the insect that flew into my face when we were scooting here.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. But anyway, on to new adventures then, I suppose, Lina.
Onwards and upwards.
Oh, wasn't that nice?
I feel like this is, as much as it is a public podcast, this is also for us.
It's a private episode.
Yeah.
A bit
it's
like
a public-private episode.
Like the honeymoon
It's nice.
season.
Yeah.
One day we'll re-listen to that.
One day.
Yeah, we haven't yet. Would have been helpful in writing the book, but I didn't. Speaking of books, Lina and I are going to talk a little bit about Kylie the Crocodile. Last night we did the show.
Yes, the world premiere.
The Universal.
The Universal VIP premiere, I should
Yes.
say.
So what we're talking about is for the Patreon members. They're the people who like the Earful so much they want to guarantee its future. You guys know who you are. We did the Universal premiere of the animated version of Kylie last night, and that's Eddie, who does a lot of the behind the scenes, including editing this podcast.
Beep if you're there, Eddie.
Eddie animated the book. And when I say animated, he made the animals move. Like the scene where Kylie's going up the escalator in the Bon Marché, she's moving up the escalator. Those kind of
Yeah, her little tail is curling.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
It was so nice. And we shared screen on Zoom with I think it was 60 people watching last night. And we just watched everyone's faces. It was so nice. We were clicking through watching everyone's faces. So that's going to be available to the greater public at some point. And we'll sell it with the books, I suppose. But for now, you can only see it if you back the Kickstarter or if you are a Patreon supporter. And that's a lot of you anyway. So go and check that out. But it was a fun event, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really nice.
I wish we could have done it on a red carpet in an old cinema in Paris.
I know.
But
Next one.
anyway, the book. I haven't had you on the show talking about the book for a while.
Really?
I don't think so.
I feel like I have.
Okay, well, let's not do it. Instead, I'll read. Kylie if you haven't got a copy of it, Kylie the Croc, you can go on theeiffeltower.com/croc and we'll send it anywhere in the world. If you're in America or Australia or Canada or Sweden or France, we'll be sending it directly from those countries, so you get it quicker. If not, it will come a little bit slower, so you might not get it in time for Christmas. And one other thing, Lina, as you well know, is we've been getting Christmas mail.
Christmas cards to our new address.
It's kind of funny because I've never given out an address on the Eiffel Tower before.
Yeah.
And now that we've got if you haven't listened to recent episodes, we've got a company now. This is a company.
Yes.
And with a company, you get an address. And I could choose the P.O. Box address, and I got 34 Avenue de Champs-Élysées, which
But
is...
of course.
34. We got an email from Delphine who sent something to 36. So our neighbours have also got a Christmas card.
Well, that's nice. Christmas spirit all around.
If you're among the people who've sent Christmas cards, they were really lovely. We've read them. It's weird getting mail because you can't... I'm not used to it.
No.
Like you can't... I don't even know how to respond because there's no email address or whatever. But we've read them and they were lovely. And thank
It's
you.
really nice. Thank you all.
That's where you can send Christmas cards or complaints. If you don't like the episode... Send in a
written complaint.
I'd much rather have
Handwritten.
a written complaint compared to a online review that's negative. Send the written one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Untraceable.
So here is a lovely email that we got in that I'd like to read. And we can finish on this. It's one of the nicest ones we've got.
Go on, then.
It's from Peggy.
Oh, yeah.
And it says, "Hi, Oliver and Lina." So sometimes people write to us both.
Hello,
so.
Peggy.
Yeah. Hi, Peggy. Thanks for the email, Peggy. She says, "Congratulations. It's like kind of a year in review. I don't need to do it.
Oh, that's great.
Congratulations on all the amazing things you've accomplished this year. Growing your popular podcast, self-publishing your captivating memoir, creating a one-of-a-kind audiobook experience, painting gorgeous daily watercolors of Paris."
Aww.
That's you. Hosting entertaining pub quizzes, writing, illustrating, and self-publishing an enchanting children's book, adding incredible scrolls, thanks to Eddie. She wrote that. Eddie's pumping the air somewhere now. to supplement the podcast for Patreon supporters, launching a new podcast on Sweden. Shout out to the Earful Sweden. Hey, Eddie, you should do like a moose noise every time we mention the Earful Sweden. And then to top it off, becoming a fully fledged company in France. Astounding. And you did all of this in spite of being in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. It's true.
That is such a nice message.
It hasn't even started
Peggy.
yet. But a great summary with enchanting.
Yeah.
She says,
I like that bit.
in the process of fulfilling your dreams, you also brought joy to so many of us during these difficult times, and I thank you both for that gift. I also have to share my excitement that my second copy of Kylie the Crocodile arrived this week. I wrapped it, put it under the tree, and let my 4-year-old grandson open it early.
Aw, so sweet.
I have to be honest. Books and reading are not yet as beloved by him as much as this retired elementary school teacher and lifelong avid reader would wish, but he fell in love with Kylie and her adventures in Paris. He sat in my lap and searched for her hiding places on each page and even tried to guess some of the verse rhymes. Then it made my heart even happier when my daughter called this morning and said, Mom, it's M-O-M. Mm-hmm. Mom, I'll do the accent to make it clear.
Yeah.
Mom, Alan really
I
loves...
feel like she's Texan.
Is that what I'm doing?
I don't know.
Mom, Alan really loves that Kylie book you gave him. He begged me to let him...
Go on.
He begged me to let him take it to school and show to his teachers and classmates.
That's really nice.
Let's just say this Nana is thrilled and wanted to let you both know what a positive influence you have in this crazy world of ours. All the best from Peggy.
Oh, Peggy.
Peggy.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Cut that, Eddie.
I got asked. I did an interview recently, and they asked me questions about you, Lila.
Oh,
and they said, "What's Lila's go-to song in karaoke?" And you know what I responded?
No, what
God
happened?
save us all if Lila gets the microphone in karaoke. I submitted it, so we'll look forward to that in the Everly magazine. That's what it's called.
Lovely.
Yeah, so anyway, shout-outs all over the place. But listen, Peggy, what a wonderful email. We've been getting a lot more emails than usual at this busy time.
And Christmas cards.
And we love it. So it's really kind. Even if I don't read it out on the show, I always read them. So thank you very much. And look, thanks for listening to this episode. A bit of a private...
Yeah, thanks for joining us on our last walk in Montmartre. It sounds very dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice to acknowledge, I think it's nice to... 2 years in Montmartre, it should be acknowledged. Maybe when we're long gone from this world.
Talk for yourself.
Maybe when I'm long gone from this world, they'll put up a plaque saying Kylie the Crocodile was written in this house.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and turn it into an aquarium.
An aquarium.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we'll leave you on that unusual thought. Thanks for listening to the Earful Tower. New episodes of the Earful Sweden coming out every Wednesday as well. So if you want more, there it is. And have a lovely Christmas or a lovely Christmas time. I'll be back on Monday with another episode. Thank you, Lina, too.
Happy holidays.